All right, I am Jason Whitlock, and Cowherd took the words right out of my mouth. This is my hair. Welcome to Speak for Yourself, the most fearless show in sports. Marcellus Wiley, traveling back from Paris. All right, coming up, we'll tell you why the Warriors are in such a rush to retire Kevin Durant's jersey, but we start with NBA free agency. All right, so let me make this clear. Kawhi Leonard has earned the right to do whatever he wants in free agency. He didn't cheat the Toronto Raptors. He delivered a title. If he wants to live and work in his home state, if he wants to play for his hometown team, no one can reasonably object. But let's be clear about something else, too. Of the three options left on the table, Lakers, Raptors, and Clippers, joining LeBron James and the Lakers would be the weakest. Would it be the equivalent of Kevin Durant joining the 7-3 win Golden State Warriors a few months after OKC blew a 3-1 playoff series lead? No, I'm not sure that record will ever be broken. I mean, that's right up there with March 2nd, 1962, the night Wilt scored 100 points. Some records just can't be touched. But Kobe did score 81. Kobe flirted with it. And that's how I see Kawhi's potential move to the Lakers. It's flirting with Durant's record. Kawhi has a claim to the title as the best player in the world. It's like boxing. Kawhi owns one of the belts. You unify the title by taking the other guy's belt. You don't join his camp. You don't work out at his gym. Joe Frazier didn't spar with Muhammad Ali. They fought. All right, let me take this to my favorite TV show. When Prop Joe tried to bring Marlo Stanfield into the New Day co-op, Marlo basically said, kick rocks. Marlo wanted to wear the crown. It didn't matter for how long as he wore it. This whole Kawhi thing is really playing out like season 3 of The Wire. LeBron is Stringer Bell, desperately trying to hold on to power without getting his hands dirty. He's hired Anthony Davis, let's call him Slim Charles, as extra muscle to protect him from Omar Little, who is actually Father Time. Is Kawhi a gangster? Does he want to own his own corners? If so, he should sign with the Clippers. That's what Avon Barksdale and Marlo would do. They would take over Los Angeles in the Clippers uniform, or they would stay in Toronto and run it back. Personally, I'm against staying in Toronto. The Raptors got extremely lucky throughout the playoffs, but particularly in the NBA Finals. Golden State lost because its entire roster got injured. Toronto has no chance of repeating. You heard that here first. Kawhi's best move is to the Clippers. It's best for him. It's best for the NBA. It's even best for LeBron James. Legends are made and enhanced by the difficulty of the obstacles they overcome. Ali needed Frazier, Foreman, and Norton to become the greatest. Joining the Lakers, that would be a Floyd Mayweather-type move. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NBA analyst Jim Jackson and Bleacher Report's Rick Bucher. Iceberg Jim, get you started here. With Kawhi joining the Lakers, would that be weak?
I'll go back to this first part here. The opening line here was great, but it was a little sarcasm when you were saying the body language on he can do what he wants. Yeah, but then you go into this right here about, his legacy. I don't know what the fascination is with people trying to determine what's best for somebody else. I'm just saying.
I'm not trying to determine.
Yeah, you're saying his legacy is
weak. I said this would be the weakest move.
What does Kawhi want? Do we know? Do we know what Kawhi wants?
No. That's what makes this the great mystery. What's his primary motive?
And we're going to know when he makes his decision on where he wants to go and where he wants to play, because the decision he's won in San Antonio already. Now, he had to get traded to go to Toronto, a place he didn't probably want to go. Now he got a chance to make his own decision on what he bases what's important to him. And I'll always go back to it. Do I agree with superpower teams? No. But if that's what a guy wants to do and that's what he feels best for him, then go for it. I don't mean I got to agree
Jim,
with
I'm in total agreement.
Right.
But he can do what he wants to do. I have the right to say I've made some weak moves in my life. Everybody makes weak moves. Sometimes people, the path of least resistance, they're like water.
Maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he wants the easiest
path.
That
would be weak.
In your mind, not in his.
I'm talking about, what about in your mind?
I don't. I think it's the easiest way out. I do.
All right.
I do.
Rick?
Yeah, I can't believe I'm sitting here with two disingenuous guys right now.
How am I being disingenuous?
Wait a minute. No.
But I'm not mad at him if he makes it.
No, when we say a guy has earned the right to make his decision, there's no asterisk or no caveat. He has the right to make whatever decision he wants. But if he makes this decision, boy, is it a bad one. Like, no.
Why are you putting words in my mouth? I never said bad. He can make a strong decision. He can make a weak decision.
A weak decision is not a wrong decision. A weak decision decision is still a good decision.
Yes, sometimes. If that's what you want.
Okay.
If that's what you want.
See, when you make that decision, to me, like Kevin Durant, is ramification that you got to deal with, okay? Right. You got 2 MVPs, you got 2 titles. But on the other end of it, you got the criticism. That's a decision that you made, and now you got to live with it, with the ramifications that come from it.
I'm going to give you a real-life example related to me. Okay. Anybody that played football, I didn't play football at Ball State my 5th year. I made a weak decision to step away from football and to focus on my academics and becoming a journalist.
It was
because I let my teammates down and I should have played. I regret the decision. It was a weak decision. It worked out well for me. Thank God I did it. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't.
Then it's not a weak move.
It was a weak move. And there's not a teammate I have that doesn't think, oh, that was weak, man. You done started every game. We got a championship team potential. And you stepped away. It was a weak move.
But here's the reality.
Worked out best for me, but it was weak.
You're always going to find somebody who's going to find fault with whatever you make, whatever decision you make.
I'm
good or bad
from it.
But ultimately, you made the best decision for you. If this is the best decision for Kawhi Leonard, I don't see that decision as weak.
I disagree.
Okay, fair enough. The bottom line is, if he goes to the Lakers, it's great for the league. You need a star. It is great, not good, great for the league because you need that team that everybody's gunning for. The Warriors are no longer that team. Mm-hmm. Maybe Toronto is when he goes back there as the defending champs, but it's not the same. It's not the same as going with the Lakers. What he does lose is that he loses very valuable space for himself because right now he's being portrayed as the one guy who says, I don't need anybody. I can do this on my own. And that's very valuable space. I believe in the market right now because there are a lot of fans who will look at this as a weak move. Not on the same level as KD because he won a championship as the lead guy.
Not getting tough.
It's not the same. But nonetheless, he would be losing something in comparison to staying with Toronto or ultimately going to Los Angeles, to the Clippers.
Okay, so to me it sounds like you're uncomfortable with the word weak. If we could come up with another word, you'd be better. You'd be good with it because again, you've just described, but it'd be kind of a weak move if he didn't stay with Toronto.
I think he loses some stature that he has right now. Then again, Kawhi Leonard has not been worried about
But Kawhi has it, and to go back to about bad for the NBA, we thought that it would be bad for the NBA with Golden State. But look what happened in regards to the national coverage.
Oh, it's always good.
It's unbelievable. And if you're the Lakers, long term, you know you need 2 superstars post LeBron's career.
And see, that's the part.
And that is the part for the Lakers.
We could judge it now going there. But if Kawhi is doing this as much because Anthony Davis is there and he's playing the long game and he's saying, I get to play with LeBron now and I get to run this ship once LeBron steps off.
Yep, it's a whole different.
That to me is a shrewd move, not a weak one.
Okay, neither one. Do you all not think the NBA over the next 2 years wouldn't be better? You have 2 guys that have led 2 different teams to NBA championships and were NBA Finals MVP, LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard. That to me sounds like the perfect rivalry, not the perfect teammates. You got Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. You have Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
This feels a little bit to me like when we were trying to create a rivalry between Kobe and LeBron. And Kobe was at the point where he couldn't hold up his end of the bargain, and LeBron was coming. I feel the same here. LeBron without Kawhi, Vegas right now has the Lakers as the favorite. I have them in the pack as potentially, but not a lock.
A rivalry also has to be where the Clippers are viable enough to compete with who they can get secondhand to go with Kawhi to push.
Oh, so you're saying if he's with the Clippers?
Yeah, he said if he's with the Clippers. If he's with the Clippers, for me, Right now, Kawhi's, I think the big thing we always talked about with the Clippers was who's going to be their first and second guy? Who's going to be the two stalwarts going there? Right now, it's just Kawhi.
And one of the greatest supporting casts I think you can have.
That don't mean you go automatically in the West.
No, I
get
get,
there
but
winning.
Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams.
I love the
Patrick
team,
Beverley.
but it's not guaranteed that it'd be that rivalry is what I'm saying. So
These two guys in the same building, the number one and number two player, you can stack them whatever way you want in the same building. That's not a great NBA story.
I said it doesn't guarantee that. I know one thing is guaranteed. If Kawhi goes with the Lakers on what that does in regards to marketability and having a villain that you talked about, Miami was the villain, okay? Golden State was the villain. Every time you're on national TV, even if you didn't love basketball and watch it, you wanted to either see them win, lose, or whatever. And that's what you're going to see with the Lakers.
We're all old enough to remember that y'all think the villain is the greatest thing. I think the rivalry is the greatest thing. I think Larry and Magic dwarfs any of this stuff we've seen the last 10, 15 years with LeBron James. I think that. And you couldn't, I just don't think you could ask for anything more than these two fighting for control of Los Angeles. Steve Ballmer, Jerry West, Doc Rivers. That's a great, potentially taking out the greatest brand in the NBA. That's a great story.
Who were the Bulls' rival?
At one point, the Pistons, the Celtics.
It moved.
Right, yeah. Those guys got older.
There wasn't a rivalry. And it worked because you had
Michael Jordan, and none of these guys are Michael Jordan, but go ahead.
Okay, but you had a great team. Well, look, I mean, the Golden State Warriors didn't have a Michael Jordan.
No, and that's why they never elevated to Jordan's level.
They took the league back ratings-wise from where it was when the Bulls and Jordan stepped off. I mean, that's what the ratings say is that.
I can't argue that at the moment, but I disagree with it. But I can't argue.
Here's the thing on the rivalry, too. I think if you go back to the Magic and Bird thing, it was organic because of what happened in college. It was organic. We can't create that again because, I mean, it's tougher to create that organic rivalry. Okay, so you're trying to manufacture one.
I'm not trying to manufacture one. If Kawhi shows up at the Staples Center in a Clippers uniform, that's a damn rivalry.
It is, but you know what? It's a city rivalry. I don't know that it's a national rivalry.
Story.
And you know what? And I'm not even sure that Clippers and Lakers fans are feeling a rivalry. Like I don't feel like
because the Clippers haven't done anything.
Okay, well,
and with Kawhi they would.
So you might be growing a rivalry, but right off the jump, I'm not convinced that the rest of the country is going to look at it and go, "Ooh, man, I can't wait to watch Clippers Lakers." I'm not feeling that.
I don't think the rest of the country is waiting to see LeBron get with the first or second best player in the NBA. He's already got Anthony Davis. I don't think that. I think people are a little tired.
I think they're far more interested in that. And again, I think you're speaking to the basketball fans who, as much as they want to bitch about the league and everything else, they're going to watch because they're basketball fans. The mainstream audience, whoa, Kawhi, AD, LeBron, I gotta watch that show. I don't even care who they're playing. I gotta see that show. That's what that appeals to.
And they gotta watch it too, like Floyd Mayweather. Can we watch a fight and he gets beat?
Yeah.
You know, I want to see that. I want to see that destruction. I want to see that train wreck.
Floyd's a good example.
But you know, no, but here's the thing with the Lakers.
Dodged everybody until they was
listen, if everybody gets together and they're not as successful, see, I told you. Yeah. So people want to see that as well.
We're making this too complicated. Look,
real complicated.
Because again, let's take sports out of it. Let's just look at TV and look at movies. Batman versus the Joker, Batman versus Bane, J.R. Ewing versus Bobby Ewing. Rivalries work. People are compelled by that. Great competition. Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. That's what has always worked. This new AAU super team stuff, y'all can sell it all you want. It's not as good as two guys going for each other's throat.
But
they want the exact same thing and have the tummy and the things between their legs to go at each other rather than calling each other and texting each other. And how can we get together and make it easy?
You're right. But you know what the reality is? You're not going to get that in this rivalry. If he's considering playing with this guy and then he decides to play for the other team, you think that this is going to be mano a mano, man, I hate your guts? There's none of that.
It's not about working their gut. I just want them to compete against each other on the court. I want the two best players to play each other 5 or 6 times in the regular season and meet in the playoffs and go at each other and let's settle it. Let's figure, okay, who is LeBron, even at 35? Is he still the best player? Or has Kawhi taken his throne?
No.
I want to see that.
You talked about the emotion of it. I don't like you. I want to take you down.
No,
that's
you put those words in my mouth, but go ahead.
No. But the way you described the movie analogy was all about that. It is, I got to take this other guy down. I got to take him out. I don't get a sense that there's that kind of enmity between Kawhi and LeBron.
Not now.
It doesn't.
You got to get in the ring together first.
What made the best of the Warriors and the Cavs? When they're having parties and they're having the RIP cake and all of that stuff, when it was the back and forth between Draymond and LeBron. Once that went by the boards and we found out they were boys, it was like, okay.
No. For a while, they didn't like each other because they were competing against each other.
That's right.
Yes, and it would happen again. It's not like Apollo Creed didn't instantly hate Rocky. He thought he was a bum. They got in the ring, and it got a little. It was harder than he thought, and then they hated each other.
How are you going to know that Kawhi hates anybody?
Well, we'll see it on the court. Again, it's like Karl Malone. He didn't have a problem with Isaiah Thomas. Then all of a sudden he popped him up across the head. I just can't believe you're arguing against having these two guys in the same building, same city, fighting for control of the NBA. Nothing could be better than that.
I'm not convinced that they'd be fighting for
Rick,
control
I'm
of
just
it.
going to. You're a great reporter.
Thank you.
I was a great columnist.
Okay.
Reporters report the news, and that's great. You can't survive without them, and it's awesome. People like columnists write the narratives and can see the interesting storylines.
I've done some long form too.
I know.
So I've done some storytelling, and I'm telling you, I get that you want rivalry. I want rivalry too, but there has to be an emotion behind it, not just great players. There has to be great intensity between the two. There has to be a dislike, and there's none of that here. They're thinking
Stick around.
Together.
This is Jason Whitlock from Speak for Yourself, and I got a website you have to visit, pristine.com. Pristine Auction has daily auctions, ending nightly, and with $1 starting bids. Authenticity is important to Pristine Auction. They guarantee authenticity and come with authentication from only the most trusted sources. Pristine auctions are affordable. Most people don't think they can afford this stuff, but it is much more affordable than you think. A signed Ray Lewis Baltimore Ravens jersey sold for under $100. A Mike Tyson autographed boxing glove sold for under $100. It's quick and free to register, free to bid, and you only pay if you win. Use registration code when joining pristine.com. That's pristine.com, and new users will receive a $5 auction credit. Again, you'll get a $5 auction credit when you register using the code SPEAK, SPEAK, to sign up for pristine.com. That's pristine.com. Jason Whitlock joined by Jim Jackson and Rick Bucher. Time now for a big story. Let's move to the Warriors, who might have lost out on re-signing Kevin Durant, but are certainly acting like there's no hard feelings about it. Less than 24 hours after Durant spurned the Golden State and decided to join Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn, Warriors CEO Joe Lacob was heaping praise on his former star, saying, quote, Kevin Durant provided our fans and franchise with numerous highlights during his stay here and carried himself with class and dignity both on and off the court. Today, as he starts a new chapter in his incredible career, we thank KD for all of his contributions, for being an integral part to one of the most prolific runs in NBA history, and we wish him well as he continues his Hall of Fame journey. As long as I am co-chairman of this team, no player will ever wear number 35 for the Warriors again, and we'll never misdiagnose another. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Interesting.
They playing make up, kiss and tell. This is a guilty conscience in full blown here. Let's retire his number. We're going to put a statue out there. It'll be up there next season. It's just the guy played there 3 years. I don't have a problem with them retiring it or whatever they're doing here, not letting anybody wear it. But let's wait. Let's let the air clear. Don't act with such a guilty. This just screams, we screwed Kevin Durant over, and we're going to do everything in our power except give him some more money to make up for it.
Been around this game 20-plus years in ownership, in the league 14 years. I have yet to see an ownership say we made a mistake. Okay? I have yet to see it. But what they do is spin it a certain way to make it sound like they said we made a mistake, but we are not telling you we made a mistake. And that's what's going on here. Because if Iggy doesn't come out with the, stuff about the medical report, they will probably say some things along this line about Kevin Durant, what he's done for the franchise and organization. We love him. He did this. We wish him the best. But I don't know about that jersey being retired right away.
Right.
Will be in there. So they're trying to get out in front of this a little bit more, because they know what can happen from it in regards to the future of Golden State and how people look at coming to Golden State, because that is so critical.
Yeah.
The medical staff.
100%.
Okay? And again, I'm going to go back to ownership will never, when they make trades, go free agency, they would never tell you they've made a mistake. If they're doctors, something happens, they won't tell you. But this is a case I think they're trying to cover their own tracks.
I have never seen a team, a championship caliber team, that was considered the model franchise, the team that did everything the right way, in every possible way, ever take a header as steeply as this team has taken over the last 3-4 weeks. They have gone from the team that does not make mistakes, that treats its players
light years
perfect.
ahead.
Yes, light years ahead. And, look, the Spurs took a bit of a hit when the whole Kawhi Leonard thing came tumbling down, but they weren't the champions of the league at that point. The narrative is so bad, how do we spin it back in our direction? And they are trying so hard to convince us that there is no bad blood between the Warriors and Kevin Durant, that it's obvious and it's not working. And that's the difficulty that I have. If you're going to do this, as you said, what's the rush to announce that you're essentially retiring the number? You might as well announce you're going to retire Steph's number, Draymond's number, and Klay's number. And by the way, I hope that you're going to announce that you're retiring Andre Iguodala's number too, because based on what he's done for the organization, you should, if what KD has done is equal to that. So this is the D'Angelo Russell signing, everything that they're doing right now is just, no, everything's okay. And by their yelling so loudly that everything's okay, it lets you know that it's not.
Well, I think, and Rick, you would know better than I would, but I think the arrogance of Joe Lacob years ago when he said, we're light years ahead of everybody, that just well, hold on, man. In the history of sports, I've never seen anybody light years ahead of everybody. People are working so hard and competing so hard. And so the arrogance of their success overtook that organization. We can make no mistakes. We fired Mark Jackson and brought Steve Kerr in here and blah, 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 blah.
But tried to hire Stan Van Gundy first.
Yeah.
So let's
and then it's just been a calamity of errors, starting with the minority governor pushing Kyle Lowry. They've just been on the back pedal ever since. That was embarrassing. And Jim, I think you make the perfect point in terms of they know other players around the league are going to be like, did you see what they did to KD, man? Jeopardized his whole career. And it's but we retired his jersey.
Hey, and we talked about it. What they did to Andre Iguodala.
Oh,
sending him to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Go ahead. Here's the thing about it, too. You're talking about model franchise, San Antonio. Yeah. They went through their stuff, okay, in regards to Kawhi Leonard, but they kept quiet, okay? So over the years, this San Antonio franchise has won at a high level, but they maintained who they were. They weren't bigger and better. They didn't boast about things that happened. Golden State all of a sudden hit the ground running when they got their core together, and now we're the ones. Yeah. And what happened? Injuries never played a factor or role in their success. Then that started to happen this year. Down. Now you got some inner workings in the organization. That stuff starts to hit. So how do you handle the success? We always talk about how do you handle success as a player, but how do you handle success as an organization? And right now, the Warriors are doing an awful job of handling that success they've had over the last 5 or 6 years. Now it's starting to come apart a little bit at the seams.
The great late Flip Saunders always liked to say, your greatest strength is often your biggest weakness. Joe Lacob, in his demanding excellence, in his saying, we are going to win championships and I'm going to give you everything possible in order to get that done, is now backfiring because he thinks that he can fix this in a hurry, in an instant. He didn't recognize the fact that you got a Steph Curry because of bad ankles. You got him on a 4-year, $44 million deal. You got a Draymond Green who was a second-round pick. You got a Klay Thompson who was a lottery pick but was happy to play a second or third fiddle even though he's got the ability to be a number one scorer. And then you get the TV money in, so then you get to add Kevin Durant. That's not by design. That's by good fortune. They've done a lot of things right in order to maximize what they had. But they didn't build this thing. Joe Lacob didn't build this thing as is. And the fact that he refuses to recognize that, it goes back to what you say. I don't always want to look at reality. It's hey, we're great, and you know who made it so.
Look, I am probably one of the most outspoken critics of Silicon Valley in the media, and the tech companies and the social media companies. I have a problem with them enforcing their values on the rest of the country. But I see Silicon Valley, and I'm saying this, Rick, because you live in that area. I see it as one of the most arrogant places in the world. And if everybody would just adopt their values, you could be just like us. And you could have all these homeless people in San Francisco just like us. And you could have all this area that we've gentrified and people are getting pushed out of their communities and they got nowhere to live. You can be just like us because we're the greatest people on the earth and we think all the right thoughts. So it doesn't surprise me Joe Lacob would get caught up in that and be eaten up by his own arrogance.
Well, don't mix the two. Because there is a culture in the Bay Area, and it has been taken over by Silicon Valley. And there is an arrogance there that is offensive to people that have been in the Bay Area for a while. It is, we know better and we're taking this over, and they've changed the culture of the Bay Area, I believe, to the negative. And yes, you're right, but Joe Lacob is also part of the new NBA. We've got venture capitalists galore. We've got guys who saw in the NBA, oh man, their profit margins could be a lot higher than they are if I just manipulate this thing for the bottom line. Joe Lacob is among those who have done exactly that, and it's changed the tenor of the league as well.
We're joined now by former Pro Bowl linebacker Sean Merriman. All right, let's move to the NFL, which is about to celebrate its 100th anniversary, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame has come up with an interesting way to celebrate, announcing a plan to induct 20 new honorees instead of their usual maximum of 8. The group would include 5 modern players, 10 seniors, 3 contributors, and 2 owners, and still has to be approved by the board. But Hall CEO David Baker supports the idea, explaining, quote, "It's extremely elite company, and it's not the Hall of Very, Very Good. It's the Hall of Fame, so it should be difficult to make it. But there's a lot of guys through the years who have slipped through the cracks. We have several guys who are on all-decade teams who aren't in the Hall of Fame. So this is an opportunity with the centennial coming up." I completely disagree with David Baker. The NFL, to me, or the Pro Football Hall of Fame, has been letting in too many players, and they should actually be going the opposite direction. It's got to remain the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very, Very Good. I just think there's too many guys politicking to get in, and they're bending to the politics.
Is it bad that it only happens once? Because this is not something that's going to be reoccurring. Because to celebrate the centennial part of it, I like it from that perspective that you do it one time. You're celebrating the greatness not only of the players but of the sport. Now, if you're talking about increasing the number of Hall of Fame players and contributors after this, that's something different. But for this one time, I like that.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I had the honor of going out for Ray Lewis's, for LaDainian Tomlinson. I seen the guys who were getting in with a shoe-ins. The guys going to first ballot, they're getting in no matter what. You almost don't even have to vote for these guys. They're getting in. Look at the people that's still in this list, right, that probably won't have a chance to get in anytime soon. Steve Hutchinson, Edgerrin James, John Lynch, Steve Atwater. You telling me these guys aren't Hall of Famers? So if you do this one time and allow some of these guys to get in, you can go back to what you used to do, but it's some of these guys that 100% deserve to be in the Hall of Fame that will not have a chance because their time is going to lapse. Once you go a certain number of times, then you get removed from the list. Some of these guys need to get in, and they deserve to get in.
The problem with that is, what I've seen is once you make an exception, people go back to that exception. And you're going to open the door even further because there are going to be other guys you're going to say, well, if these guys slip through the cracks, what about these guys? And it becomes a wider field. I saw this happen with the Basketball Hall of Fame. In 2009, the inductees were Michael Jordan, David Robinson, Jerry Sloan, John Stockton, and C. Vivian Stringer. You couldn't find a stronger five. It re-energized the whole Basketball Hall of Fame concept. Since then, every year, they've had no less than 10 inductees. And we've added people like Phil Knight, George Raveling, Gary Williams, Oscar Schmidt, Goose Tatum. I'm not saying that any of those people don't deserve to be in, but there has now become this thing. And I know that Jerry Colangelo, when he took over as the director, was, hey, we've missed some people. Well, there was also the idea that we wanted to generate more attention. And that's the difficulty that I have. I feel as if everybody is fighting for the attention of people. So if we widen the scope, we're going to get more
And I believe the
attention.
NFL, they have done it before, right? Some years. I don't know if it was in the 60s or 70s. A long time ago they did. When they first started.
They let 17 guys in, and that was their first class, 44 years of NFL history, and they let 17 guys in. I just think it's a gigantic mistake because you know how you judge a Hall of Fame a lot of times? By the guys that don't get in. That's how, again, we used to say in journalism, you know how you wrote a great story? Is because of the stuff that was left in the cutting room floor that you were like, man, that was really good. That couldn't make the story. That's a great story.
These guys have so much help nowadays. You got social media involved. You got TV. You got the internet. You have more opportunity. You have YouTube, right? I mean, I look at some of my stuff is still on YouTube, right? But before then, you don't see a lot of guys highlight tapes and what they've done on YouTube. So you have more opportunities to do it now. If you get past of some of these guys, like I just named, if you don't put them in the Hall of Fame, 5, 10, 15 years from now, these guys will never have an opportunity to go because we're just so internet friendly. We're so social media friendly.
Yeah.
And all these things help guys nowadays get in.
Look, Sean, I'm going to say this, and people are going to be very upset when I say this, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. But, you know, I wanted to be in the Hall of Fame, too. I didn't qualify. I wasn't good enough. I never made the NFL. I wasn't good enough. I was a mediocre mid-major player. Just because guys want to get in doesn't mean they should get in. And there's a lot of guys that want to get in and have a legitimate some of an argument. The guys you rattled off all have a case. But you got to draw the line somewhere. You know, I hate to be disrespectful of any Hall of Fame football player because, you know, I'm a groupie for Hall of Fame football players. That's where I wanted to be. But I've seen some guys where I'm just like, no, they were never the best at their position. And I saw a guy, I'm going to name one guy because he'd irritate me. Harry Carson whined and complained and threatened, I won't even go if they put me in, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, they put him in, and I was like, no damn Hall of Famer.
The other part is, doesn't this devalue the people that were going through the selection process previously? The people that were voting and selecting? Aren't you suggesting, hey, you know what? You guys were recognized enough to make these selections, but you didn't quite get it right. We got to clean up your mess. And I'm not sure that that's fair either.
Well, I don't know if it's devaluing. I think you are given an opportunity to correct some errors that were missed. Okay?
But what are we basing that on?
You're basing it on going against a guy like Ray Lewis, right, who was a shoo-in. Randy Moss, who's a shoo-in. LaDainian Thomas, who's a shoo-in. So that automatically removes one or two spots every single year. You know, Champ Bailey, that removes spots, one to three spots, right? So now if you take those three and put those in there, how many spots do you have left till another guy has to wait another 5 years to go back up again?
But if that's the measurement, and it's always been the measurement, that this is just the reality of it, this is how many guys get in, then, yeah, maybe you are a little bit of prey of how good was your generation or how was your era. But that's been the case for decades and decades, so now we're changing, we're moving the goalposts, we're changing the dynamic and suggesting, well, you know what, yeah, that's the way it's always been, but we're going to make an exception here. Again, I think it waters down the value. The fact that guys are really great players and well-respected and don't get in adds the value to those who do.
Here's the thing, but comparing like the NFL and the NBA is totally different because the NBA is watered down just because of the international presence, okay?
Yeah, well, it's not an NBA Hall of Fame, it's a basketball
Hall of Fame.
It's women, it's coaches, it's everything.
So it's a lot different in regards to them opening it up to more people compared to football. To me, I'm saying if you do this one time, and that's it in that regard, then that's totally different than opening it up after that. You feel me?
I'd be okay with that. I'm just not buying that it's going to be one time.
Let me ask you this, Sean, on a serious note. Again, you would know better than I would, but I see a lot of guys that everybody wants to get in because it's a way to really legitimize your career. But I also think a lot of guys complain and want in because it's a money-making opportunity. They put that gold jacket on you, and that's about $200,000 a year that gets put in your pocket just for being a Hall of Famer.
That has something to do with it. We saw ED, right? ED said, hey, we should get $300,000 a year for the rest of our life. No, I get that part of it, but you got to look at guys like Terrell Davis, right? There are some guys who didn't get in the first time around who are not complaining. I know T.O. was one of the things he probably should have been in the first time, but we have other guys that are not complaining. So we can't take the one bad apple, what you named before, and say that's the standard across the board because guys, I keep going, Tony Baselli, right? We can keep going on this list on and on and on. I remember how great of a tackle he is. A guy that's coming up right now, that's playing right now. Do you remember how great Tony Baselli was? No, I do. I remember watching him growing up. So as long as you get away from watching these guys and knowing who they are, you don't give an equal opportunity or chance. So I'm with you on that. I think that they should do it one time. If they want to do it in another 10 or 15 years from now, fine, but go back to that standard.
Here's what I think is happening that people aren't aware of. David Baker, the head of the Hall of Fame, and the voters, they're getting pressure virtually daily from former players. Why not me? How can I get in? Or their representatives are contacted. How can they get in? It's a shame. And that's what they're succumbing to, that they're trying, okay, if we just get rid of these 15 guys and get them in, people will stop complaining. And it's like that you feed a cat, trust me, he's going to be back on your front door again, and there's going to be a new set of guys. I can name, you name Tony Baselli, I'm going to give you a name of someone that I know damn well is a Hall of Fame player, but will never get in, and you'll never hear me whine about it. But just in terms of performance, Brian Waters.
Yep.
That dude balled out, was a beast. He'll never get in, but he could deserve a Hall of Fame. And one of my best friends in the NFL, but I won't go on some rant and because he didn't earn it. He needed a couple more things to make it a no-brainer. I wish they'd only let the no-brainers in, to be honest with you. All right, Jim Jackson, Rick Bucher, and Sean Merriman are back. Time to get antisocial. My man Darnell Smith.
What's on, fella?
Hey,
y'all fella.
Jim, go ahead.
That Black Mamba.
I got a special 4th of July one. Come on, man.
Hold on, no. My boy Lights Out.
Get it.
I'm feeling good. Let's go. Feastin came out.
Come on.
Gronk can't do that anymore.
Can't do that no more. Ain't got the
Got
muscles
those guns
no more.
out, too, I see.
Yeah.
All right, what's poppin'?
Yeah, well, we're going to start off with your fresh fade. After yesterday's show, Whitlock was the #1 trending topic on Twitter in the U.S. due to everyone talking about his new haircut. People were in disbelief that was actually Whitlock's hair. Even suggested he was using some sort of hair growth products or just flat out wearing a snap-on. I thought it was hilarious, and my favorite one was his comparison to Steve Harvey saying, Steve Harvey walked, so Jason Whitlock could run. What made you change your hairstyle?
We got a barber here that comes twice a week.
Shout out to Justin.
And so now I don't have to take care of my hair. It was easier just to cut it all off every couple of days. But now that I got someone to take care of it, I said I'm gonna let it grow back out. This is my real hair.
Pull
this
it.
is my real
I had to vouch for it. I seen it. I said, no, they got to leave my man Whit alone.
It'd be different if he came in with the Beijing.
Yeah.
Beijing.
Yeah.
See, I think it is because Whit think he cute now. He on TV.
Got the earring.
He got the earring. You know what I mean? I think he freshly shaved, I think he cute.
I don't know about you guys. I wouldn't voluntarily shave my head. And I'm thinking that if people they're thinking it's not real, maybe you need to go back the other way and take it home again.
No,
But you don't have to come on home, though.
I'm keeping this hair, man. I worked too hard to grow it. I've been growing it since January.
It took me an hour this morning to get this thing on. What are you talking about?
Cut it off, it may not come back.
Right. This is it.
All right, next.
Yeah, all right, let's switch over to the tennis court, where 15-year-old phenom Corey Goff, a.k.a. Coco, beat her idol, Venus Williams, yesterday, becoming the youngest player ever to win a match at Wimbledon since 1991. She was obviously very emotional post-match, giving Venus a long handshake and thanking her for everything she's done for the sport. Twitter couldn't stop talking about it. Even comedian Ashley Blaker tweeting out, a 15-year-old just knocked Venus Williams out of Wimbledon. My eldest son turned 15 tomorrow. He's currently in the bedroom playing Fortnite in his underpants. So, guys, do you think this would be Corey Goff's greatest accomplishment?
That's a great question but if it is, it's a hell of an accomplishment because to me it felt like damn, Venus's daughter beat her. That's what I was, and it had to be an amazing feeling for Venus and for her because Venus and Serena know damn well they inspired this young woman.
I think it's cool for right now. I think it's her greatest accomplishment up to this point. But you're talking about someone at 12 years old saying that they want to be the best ever. Right, so I don't think this is it for her. Maybe as far as us looking at it, her beating her idol, this is her greatest accomplishment up to this point. But when you're 12 years old saying, I want to be the best that's ever played this game, she got a long road ahead of her. She's ready to go.
I think the greatest accomplishment will be living a normal life after doing this
Right.
at 15. Like now you got to live with this and somehow build on it or people are going to look at you in a different way.
What's the irony, though, Venus looking at herself in the mirror, kind of, so to speak,
You had to.
15-year-old, on what she's able to do? Now, how you move it forward, that's a whole different thing. You can't start saying she's the next Venus or Serena, but it's just ironic on the back end of your career. All professional, the great ones, they see this young one, and at that time, you just got to bow down and say congrats.
All right, so I think Jennifer Capriati won at Wimbledon at 15 years old, maybe a little bit younger than her. But she went on to win a couple of Australian Opens and other. So I think the future's bright. I will not be shocked if in the next 3 or 4 years, Coco wins a major.
Yep. Next! Yes, sir. Let's move to the UFC, where Amanda Nunes has a big fight this weekend, but her fiance and fellow UFC fighter, Nina Ansaroff, has an idea for a better fight. Take a listen.
We already talked about it.
Okay.
After she gets the belt, I'm going to get my belt at 15, and then we're going to do a super fight at 125. We're so down. We really try to kill each other. Why not? Bring money home into the same household. Why not?
Do you think this would be a good idea?
I'm going to pass the ball to
Come on.
I deal with fighters all the time, and they are crazy as hell. But this is probably the craziest one I've seen. There's so many other ways than keeping money in the family.
Right.
This ain't it.
It felt like it was something that happened in the house. Like, I told you to take out the trash. Why you drink all the milk and lemonade? You should. So let's just squash it out in the ring. That's what it felt like to me.
I feel as if this is the way every relationship should start. Not necessarily beating each other up. That's a little much. But every two people that decide they want to get together, they should have some sort of competition before they get married to find out exactly how well this is going to work.
Shot, I'm going to circle back to you because you are a fighter. You like to fight. Have you ever fought your best friend? Have you ever, or anybody that was a friend of yours?
Oh, yeah.
How did that affect
I fought most of my best friends. I don't think you become best friends until you fight, right? You get that one out the way, and everything cool now. But this is extreme, right? Because this is extreme. Because for one, it's a woman and man, but they got to go home, right? So as soon as you go home, that other fight might start from whoever lost. Like, we need that rematch, but it ain't going to be in the cage.
All right, time now for Darnell's question of the day. Darnell, take it away.
All right, guys, so there's been a lot of moves made since NBA free agency began, and obviously everyone's going to give their opinions. And Raptors guard Fred VanVleet doesn't seem to approve of these comments, tweeting out, why can't people just celebrate these guys getting paid instead of comparing and talking about who deserves what? You are worth whatever someone will pay you, but keep hating each other. Young dudes, black or otherwise, getting multi-millions is a beautiful sight. Do you guys have an issue with fans or media questioning athlete salaries?
Hell no, because, again, I think you can be happy. I remember when I was a kid when they announced Magic Johnson had a 25-year, $25 million contract. That's the coolest thing ever. But then the conversation, does he deserve it? Is he 25 years from now? How's he blah, 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 blah? That's just part of the conversation in sports. That's how we talk about sports. Does the guy deserve the money?
The question, yeah, whatever. It always happens. I don't question other people's stuff, but you got to understand the economics behind it. And a lot of people don't do that because they're looking at their own circumstances. Like, I'm doing A, B, C, and D every day, and I can't get this. Why do they deserve this? Because they play 82 games or 16 games. Am I mad at it? No, I've come to understand the mentality behind the question. And once you do that, it don't bother me.
Yeah, I typically believe that people are always going to hate what they don't understand. And coming from that, we grew up poor. We ain't had nothing. So seeing somebody making this type of money, you're like, why is a guy complaining about $10 million? He's already making $5 million. Well, we don't understand that the market dictates him making $10 million. So you're thinking that he's complaining. So people are just going to hate what they understand because of what you said, their circumstances. I've been in it. I get how they view things, but you know, now being in that situation, I'm on the other side of the fence, and they just never going to understand that part of it.
This is the funniest part for me. The dude wearing the Lakers jersey with the league pass is on his Twitter going, I can't believe he made this money. Like, dude, you're the reason he's making the money. The reason the players are making the money is because you care and you're talking about it. The question I have is, we never talk about what the owners are making. We never talk about and where's that coming from? Because the reality of it, if you're in the business, the players are still not making a true measure of what they generate. As crazy as the numbers are. And it's gotten so big that they don't even care at this point. It's like, you know what?
We good.
I'll take the 220. I'm worth 260. You know what? We're good. We're good.
I'll say this, though. I do think virtually all of us in the entertainment industry are overpaid. So,
and I would respectfully disagree. It's difficult to find the intrinsic value of what we do.
Tom Cruise is worth $40 million a movie or whatever.
Yeah, he is because
he's not overpaid.
Because somebody's paid. Somebody is willing to pay him that. And somebody thinks that they can make that money off of him because of it.
I understand capitalism, but his value to society.
Well, no. That's a different thing. I'm not.
As opposed to a teacher.
I'm not gauging someone's value to society based on what's in their pocketbook or the check that they are written on a weekly basis. Those are two different things to me.
But that's where the complaints are born from, or the people that's like, want to complain. And again, I think it's not just athletes, because again, where I will defend athletes is like, we never really hear this discussion about movie stars or rock stars.
True.
And there's no animus towards an actor or actress or music star that's overpaid.
But who do we remember? Do we remember the people who made the most, or do we remember the people that made the biggest impact? To me, I'm not measuring somebody or looking at somebody in reverence because of the dollars they have in their bank account. I'm looking at what they did or what they might have done with it.
Jim Jackson, Rick Bucher, and Sean Merriman are back. Let's move to Cleveland, where Kareem Hunt was looking for a fresh start with the Browns after getting cut by the Chiefs last season and suspended 8 games over the video of him kicking and shoving a woman. Well, now a new video has surfaced, this time of Hunt being questioned by police outside of a Cleveland bar. A witness told TMZ that Hunt was in a physical altercation with another man before the cops came over. No charges were filed, and the Browns have declined to comment on the incident. The question here is this something or nothing? And I got to say, given his situation, it's a little something. You got to be smarter than this.
I mean, we don't get the full idea of what happened with the clip. We only get something that's there. But because of the video before where he's still suspended, it still doesn't look good. You're at a bar at night. And I can't say that it's wrong for you to go out, but you got to be conscious of where you go, when you do it, and how you do it. Because if anything jumps off, then it comes back on you. So as a young person, it's always hard to remove yourself from a situation like, look, I'm just going out, I'm not messing with anybody. But things like this can happen when you put yourself in that situation.
You know what I don't understand is I don't think he fully gets how many people feel like he shouldn't be playing at all right now. I don't think he understands that when he walks into a bar, he's an automatic target and people already know he's suspended. So anybody's walking past you is looking for a bump. They're looking for you to step on their shoe. They're looking for you to give them a little shoulder nub just so they can look right at you, and they already know your situation walking in. This is stupid. This is dumb. I don't get it. You're getting another opportunity. He's just Another one of these guys that when he's finally done with the NFL in 5 years, is going to look back and say, man, I blew it. I had an opportunity. I had another shot. They gave me another shot, and I decided to go into a bar with everybody looking at me knowing that I'm already suspended. Either I'm going to get paid or get him kicked out the league. You're an easy target. Why even go? It's 100% his fault.
That's tremendous perspective. You should be part of the NFL rookie orientation. And I agree. I agree with all that. But based on what I am seeing, to me, this is nothing. Because I see him talking to the police. It's a short clip. He's not being detained. He's not being arrested. He's not being confronted. He's having a conversation. Everybody's got space. I understand, don't put yourself in tricky situations. That's the smart thing to do. But the idea that someone's not going to live their life or they're not going to go out or he's not going to hang out, that's just not realistic. At his age, I understand that. And he should fully grasp that he's been given a second chance. Based on what I'm seeing here, I just can't go to the step of, this isn't Zeke. He's not inebriated. Zeke was inebriated. Zeke was compromised. That I have an issue with. This, if he was out with his boys and he wasn't drinking, and somebody thought something happened and it didn't, and he's explaining it to the police now, he's okay in my book.
Here's why I'm going to say something and agree with these guys. It's just because I've been young and dumb and oversized and overfed alcohol. At age 22, I was just, at this time I was just a fifth-year student at Ball State, but I was a bouncer at a bar on campus, got liquored up, beat up a kid half my size. It's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life. Cost me a relationship with a woman at that time because it was a friend of hers, and it was just stupid. And from that moment on, at 22, I decided I'll never be in another fight again. I will never be in another and so I'm at 22 without the NFL overlooking me, no contract. I was just a bouncer at a bar. I decided no more violence, and I've never been in a fight since. And I walk away anytime. Anybody want to get at it? Why? Because again, and what Kareem needs to do is again check the W-2s, yours versus whoever you're having an altercation with. And most of the time, your W-2 really trumps theirs, and you got more to lose. Just go the other direction. So if I can do that at 22 without having cost myself a contract and all those things.
But you're more mature, and the maturity part, I think, steps in regards to that, because a lot of times the mindset of a young guy, listen, I paid my dues, I did this, I'm off, but I'm still going to hang. They can't tell me what I can't do. When you have that kind of mentality, you're always going to put yourself in a situation and you're going to be somewhere probably you shouldn't be, and sometimes it's just bad timing. Wrong place at the right time in regards to something going on.
So are you guys suggesting that he shouldn't have been there at all?
No, not at all. I have no problem with him going out and having a good time. The problem is they're saying he got into an altercation with his own friend in public. First of all, if that's your friend and that's your boy, what do you fight? And he knows your situation. What you fighting with him for in the first place?
Altercation.
An altercation. That's it.
Come on, man.
You can't even.
Somebody interprets that.
But that's the difference, because with a guy like that that's already under the microscope, that has been involved in the law, okay? Anything that happens, I don't care what it is.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If it's your boy, somebody you just met, it's going to be blown up, and it's going to put you in a situation that's going to hurt you from a career perspective.
All right, before we go, I want to announce my new strategy as it relates to Colin Kaepernick. After today, I'm going to do my level best to ignore Cap and avoid commenting on his foolishness. Yesterday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Nike nixed plans to sell a shoe that celebrated the 4th of July holiday with the Betsy Ross 13-star flag on its heel. The flag was created during the American Revolution. Nike canceled the Air Max 1 USA because Kaepernick allegedly complained the flag was offensive to black people. Now, I'm 52 years old. Yesterday was the first time I'd heard that the Betsy Ross flag was offensive. Before yesterday, I would have paid absolutely zero attention to the Betsy Ross flag or the Air Max 1 USA. I would have simply celebrated the 4th of July like I always have, by overdosing on hamburgers and ribs and watching fireworks. Are hamburgers, ribs, and fireworks also offensive? Should we cancel the cookout? For 3 years, I've taken every opportunity to expose the shallowness of Kaepernick's form of revolutionary resistance. Cap is a useful idiot being deployed as an agent of chaos. He is Heath Ledger's version of the Joker from the Dark Knight movie. Cap is a dog chasing cars. He wouldn't know what to do with one if he caught it. He's a wrench in the gears. His purpose is to introduce a little anarchy, to upset the established order and make everything chaos. By responding to his nonsense, I'm helping him accomplish his goal. At this point, there's no convincing Kaepernick supporters that he's a fraud. They don't care. They believe his intentions are good and the soundness of his strategy is irrelevant. That's my entire problem with the internet activists. They have no strategy, just complaints. Is complaining activism or is it complaining? Maybe your nagging spouse is an activist, not a nagging spouse. But I have to exit the Kaepernick hamster wheel. We all should muster the courage to ignore the agents of chaos who make good people of all races debate irrelevant crap. The Betsy Ross flag debate should be filed in the same dumpster as the debate over who gets to pee at Starbucks without buying a drink. This chaos is orchestrated and executed by people who want us in a constant cycle of discord over the inconsequential so that we never address our real problems. Kaepernick has no idea he's being used. He believes a flag on the heel of a tennis shoe is the equivalent of being forced by law to sit on the back of the bus. If I ran a shoe company built on slave labor in a foreign country, I'd want my celebrity athletes complaining about Betsy Ross and comparing graffiti on a Brentwood mansion to the assassination of Emmett Till. I'd want guys like me debating the foolishness on national TV. I'm kicking my cap addiction. More speak for yourself after this. Let's return to the NBA, where the Celtics added Enes Kanter to their free agency haul yesterday. After the signing, Kanter explained that he decided to move on from Portland because he didn't appreciate the team's negotiating tactics, telling ESPN's Mark Spears, quote, I was considering signing with the Blazers, but they gave me only 6 minutes to make a decision. I felt pressure and didn't feel comfortable, so I told him I need to think about it so I can call my brother so he can ask my family, because I can't call my family directly, but they kept pushing, so I told them no. Kanter's old teammate Damian Lillard disputed the claim, saying Kanter was actually given 45 minutes. Look, man, you can accomplish a lot in 6 minutes, man.
Leave that alone, partner. Leave that alone.
Look, they had a quick decision to make. I'm not blaming the Trailblazers here.
Well, they probably knew. We talked about this yesterday. They probably had another deal waiting. So
they did. They had the Hassan Whiteside deal.
Hassan Whiteside deal. So they had to figure it out.
Sure.
I've been in a situation before where the team gave me a timeline. It was Memphis. I want you to come here. You need to be here at this time. And I was like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm not coming.
But that's the distinction.
Yeah.
To come there.
Yeah.
Ennis had been there. Like, what do you got to decide? The numbers are laid out. You've been there. You know the coaching staff. You know the whole setup. It's yay or nay. And they gave you first choice. So I have absolutely no problem.
Where was his agent? You
Well,
gotta call your
that
family.
That was the thing.
You got to call your family. Where's the agent?
That was the thing. You know, rather if they gave him 6 minutes or 45 minutes, that's not an opportunity. That's basically telling you we good if you stay, but we cool if you gone. Right? So that's what that told me. Whether it was 6 minutes or 45 minutes, we don't know the truth. But 45 minutes is still a quick time to make a big decision like that. And they should have gave the man longer to call his family and do what he needed to do.
Here's what I guarantee the Trailblazers would say. It's like we have been having an ongoing conversation with Enes.
Yep.
This wasn't like first time you heard, hey, man, how you been? How's your summer been? We got a contract. They talked to him the day before that. They talked to his agent, everything. And it was like, hey, man, you got 6 minutes. We either doing this deal or we got something else we're going to do. He didn't want to commit. I don't think he should be whining about it.
Yeah, the problem I have is now you're going to snap back on the team. And he's done this kind of before. This is also take into consideration who's doing the complaining. I've seen this from Kanter before. He's a little high-strung, a little emotional. Fact of the matter is look, as you said, he's had a whole period of time playing there. If it's a new situation, if it's Dallas calling up, hey, we'd be interested. But we got to make this now. Can you come? Can you do it? I'd be like, whoa, there's too much I don't know. He knew everything to make his decision.
I'm going to tell you the other thing I don't like is, like, I got to call mommy and daddy.
Right.
I mean, if he had said, I got to call my wife, man, because, she had been looking at a new house
Fair.
and blah, blah, blah. But I got to call mommy and daddy? And it's like, are they NBA experts?
Well, and it like that mother and father live with are coming here. You know what I mean? It's not like that's going to impact.
What do you guys think I should do?
Right? It's going to impact their living experience or their living environment if you go somewhere else.
Especially him.
Especially him.
Their situation.
Yeah.
They're once removed.
All right, welcome back. Jim Jackson is here. Uncle Jimmy. You have a take on the show so far?
Sure don't. Sure don't.
Why not?
Look, man, I'm going to just get to what's straight up at the matter at hand, man. I'm going to talk about you, Iceberg Jim Jackson, and you, Hindenburg Jason Whitlock, sitting up here taking a sentimental moment of my honeymoon about me and Maydessa, and y'all using it for y'all own little purposes to set up here and crack little jokes. I'm going to tell both of y'all, I resemble that remark.
You still upset about yesterday?
You doggone rootin' tootin' scootin' I am.
Why?
Man, look, let me explain to you. First of all, especially you.
Who are you?
That's the very reason Wesley Snipes whooped your ass in New Jack City. That's the very reason right there. Ain't never liked you anyway.
So you said to say I'm Christopher Williams?
Ain't never liked you anyway. Hating on me. That's your problem. You mad because I'm participating in a weight division you can't participate in. Let me tell you something. I'm one of the original members of the Digital Underground. You understand me? It was me, Shock G, G Money, and the Notorious B.I. Jimmy. That's where it came from. You know, that song, the Freaks of the Industry. I wrote that song. I called it the Big Girls of the Industry. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, for real, that's when I met Maydessa. I seen it, boy. I put that walk on her, Jim. I said, do-do-do-dum, dum-dum-dum-dum, do-do-do-dum. Hey, I just broke it down and said, I like them big girls of the industry. Yo, when they see me backstage, they be prepared to G. I like them big girls of the industry. You know, they say that birds do it, bees do it. Well, Uncle Jimmy's here, girl, so let's get to it. I need a heavyweight, one that can go 12 rounds, one that be licking on some chicken and working it around till her jaw start making
Hey,
that
man, stop. Let me get to the highlight of our discussion.
Maydessa checked you last night when you
earlier.
went home.
No
That's the
big dummy
problem.
of the day. You're the big dummy of the day. Our
She don't
discussion
like you.
earlier about
like
Kawhi
you.
Leonard.
Might be pretty.
She don't like you. She don't like you either.
This whole Kawhi thing is really playing out like season 3 of The Wire. LeBron is Stringer Bell, desperately trying to hold on to power. He's hired Anthony Davis as extra muscle to protect him from Omar Little, who is actually Father Time.
Do I agree with superpower teams? No. But if that's what a guy wants to do and that's what he feels best for him, then go for it.
All right, Uncle Jimmy, you got your LaDon James outfit on.
Oh, we back in character now, baby. We back in character. I had to lay that down.
You got to take on Kawhi?
Doggone right I do.
What is it?
Hey, man, this is real talk. LeBron, be real careful fooling with Kawhi Leonard. Everybody's telling you that this would be a weak move to bring Kawhi to the Lakers. I don't know how smart of a move that's going to be to take Kawhi to the Lakers. You know, you said up talking about the Wire. Talking about Avon, Stringer, and Omar and all of them.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you know who Kawhi is from the Wire? Kawhi's Mike. Mike Lee. The little dude, junior high school, got caught up early in the game. He didn't want to be in the game. He was forced to have to take care of his little brother, taking care of all the little kids. He had to take care of the little kid named Daquan. Little kids called him Dookie. Remember that, Jim Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Before you knew it, you looked up, he running everything, right? You didn't see it coming, but that's it. Hey, man, LeBron need to be real careful with this thing, man, for real.
Kawhi is going to be Mike. He's going to be running everything. Is it?
LeBron need to be real careful fooling with Kawhi Leonard, all right?
Why?
Y'all gonna look up. Remember Uncle Jimmy told y'all this. Y'all gonna look up, and this is gonna be the Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis team.
After LeBron leave.
No.
Yeah,
You're gonna look
yeah,
up
no,
Maverick
after he
Carter,
leaves.
gonna have The Shot, hosted by Kawhi Leonard. Little Bronny gonna have the whole JV team wearing New Balance tennis shoes. What can I say?
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Rumor has it, Rich Paul talking about leaving his position, opening up a string of beauty shops, specializing in nothing but cornrow. This is what's happening out here. And oh, sweet black baby Jesus, worst case scenario, LeBron and Kawhi gonna be sitting outside the Staples Center before the game. LeBron gonna be looking in the mirror, he gonna say to Kawhi, how my hairline look, man? All Kawhi gonna do is say, bam! You remember what happened at the end of the wire when Snoop asked Mike that? Hey, man, I know y'all think Uncle Jimmy old and I ain't with the time. Here, let me break it down for you. Hey, man, this is like Chris Brown said. These free agents ain't loyal. They ain't loyal. Keep playing with it if you want to, LeBron.
I kind of like that.
The New Balance one was pretty good.
Yeah, the New
Balance was pretty good.
Hey, all right, stepdaddy.
And Kawhi gonna do LeBron like Snoop. How my
hairline look, man? Bam!
All right, let me get to my approval rating.
Would you hate that to be the last laugh you hear?
For Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi remains at GOAT status and actually elevates 3 points here and all-time greatest. Last time we did him, I had him at GOAT status, but he hadn't won the title there in Toronto. So stays the same in job performance, 25. Moves up 3 points and all-time greatest, 22. 2 titles with 2 different teams, 2 finals MVPs, 2 different teams. This dude's an all-time great. Character, authenticity stay the same. A total of 84. GOAT status.
GOAT status. You know, job performance for me, I think, of course, he's one of the best. I think he could have did more.
Ooh, you only got him at a 20 job?
At 20, just because his potential is still there. I think sometimes in the finals he didn't perform, but I think he has an all-time status too. His career is just now taking off in regards to where he can really be. I think he found himself in Toronto as far as being a leader. Character, we know who he is, bro. We know who he is. And authenticity, listen, he is who he is going to be. Kawhi has always been that way. 25, GOAT status, 88, boom.